One day, a woman named Uma, who was a widow, was at her shop. Her husband had passed away 5 years ago. Suddenly, a boy came and started asking her some questions. Then, he told her that her husband had been reborn. He explained everything to her. Hearing all this, Uma couldn't believe it and was astonished. What was the full story, and how he solved his own murder case? Let's find out everything in today's video. About 40 years ago, on August 28, 1983, there was a businessman named Suresh Verma in Agra. He was married to Uma, and they had 2 children. The family also included his parents and brother. Suresh owned a shop called Suresh Radio, where he sold electronics like radios, TVs, and transistors. The shop was located in Agra's well-known Mall Road Market. On August 28, 1983, Suresh closed his shop and met some people before heading home at night. It was a bit late, and his street was dark. He stopped his car outside the house and honked loudly for Uma to open the door so he could park inside. Before Uma could come out, 2 men suddenly ran toward Suresh from behind. One of them aimed at Suresh and shot him. They then fled the scene. When Uma came out, she saw her husband covered in blood in the driver's seat. She screamed for help, and people came and rushed Suresh to the hospital. Unfortunately, the bullet had struck a critical spot near his ear. Suresh Verma succumbed to his injuries, leaving the family devastated. Despite the shock, the family had to move on. Suresh's shop, Suresh Radio, is still open and now run by his widow Uma, as their children were too young at the time. 3 years later, in 1986, in a village named Bod, about 17 kilometers from Agra, a 3-year-old boy named Toran Singh lived. Toran was born on December 10, 1983, roughly 4 months after Suresh Verma's death. By the age of 2.5, Toran had started talking, but his parents couldn't understand what he was saying. By the time he was 3, his speech became clearer. The family lovingly called him Titu. He had 3 brothers and came from a poor family. When Titu turned 3, he began to undergo a strange change. He started telling his family, especially his mother Shanti Devi and his father Mahavir Prasad, that he had come there by chance, that this was not his home, and that he was homesick and wanted to go back to his real home. As a 3-year-old, he spoke in a way that sounded like an adult. His tone, facial expressions, and even his way of sitting became like that of an older person, and his voice changed during these moments. The family thought something might be wrong with him, perhaps a mental illness, but he kept insisting that this was not his home and that he missed his real home in Agra. Initially, the family ignored it, thinking it was just a child's imagination. However, as he approached 4 years old, he continued to say the same things. The family began to wonder why he kept repeating this. He started revealing more details, saying, "My name is not Toran Singh or Titu. I am Suresh Verma, the owner of Suresh Radio Shop." The family was puzzled, thinking he might be possessed or something was seriously wrong. He went on to say, "I am not a child, I am Suresh Verma, and I have a wife named Uma and 2 sons." A 3- or 4-year-old saying such things baffled the family. They initially thought it might be a case of some supernatural possession, a common belief in small towns. Titu would often scold his mother for wearing torn saris, insisting she buy a new one. This behavior confused his family even more. As he kept talking, this situation persisted, and by the time he was 5 years old, around 1988-89, he became more assertive, saying, "This is not my home. My real parents live in Agra. I have a shop there, my wife Uma, and my 2 sons." Titu's insistence that he was Suresh Verma and not Toran Singh left his family in disbelief and confusion. When Titu turned 5, he underwent another change. He began insisting more strongly that he needed to go back to his real home, even threatening to pack his things and leave if they didn't take him. One day, he actually packed his bag with his clothes meticulously, like an adult, which is unusual for a child. He told his mother, "Look, this is not my home. I don't know why or how I came here, But you are not my parents and these are not my brothers. My real family is in Agra, and I'm going there." When the family saw Titu packing his bag with determination, they realized for the first time that this was serious. For the past 2 to 3 years, Titu had been insisting that he wasn't Titu but Suresh, and that his real parents and shop were somewhere else. His brother Ashok decided to investigate Titu's claims. Ashok asked Titu, "If you're not Titu but Suresh Verma, where is your shop?" Titu replied firmly, "In Agra, on Mall Road, named Suresh Radio." When Ashok asked about his home, Titu gave the address without hesitation. Determined to verify Titu's story, Ashok reassured him, "We will take you to your home. Don't think about running away." He secretly informed only his parents about the plan, and then set off for Agra. On Mall Road, Ashok searched for the shop named Suresh Radio. After some time, he spotted a sign that read Suresh Radio. His heart raced as he walked into the shop and asked to meet Suresh. A woman and some employees were present. They informed him that Suresh had died 5 years ago. Hearing this, Ashok felt weak because Titu had been saying the same thing, that he died 5 years ago, was shot by 2 men, and remembered their faces. Ashok asked for more details and learned that Suresh Verma had indeed been shot at his home's door while honking the horn. He also saw a picture of Suresh Verma in the shop with a garland around it. Ashok then asked the woman in the shop, who turned out to be Suresh's widow, "What's your name?" She replied, "Uma." Shocked, Ashok asked, "How many children do you have?" "2 sons," she responded. At this point, Ashok was overwhelmed and unsure of what to do next. The woman, noticing his confusion, asked, "Why are you asking so many questions? What is your connection to our family?" Ashok was stunned by the realization that everything Titu had been saying for the past 3 years was true. Ashok then explained, "Now it's your turn to listen. I come from a village called Bod, which is 17 kilometers away from here. My name is Ashok, and I have a younger brother named Toran Singh. He is 5 years old, born on December 10th, 1983. He's been saying the same thing for the past 2.5 years, that he's not part of this family. His real home is in Agra, and his name is not Titu, but Suresh Verma. He has a wife named Uma, and they have 2 children. He owns a shop named Suresh Radio." Ashok continued, "When he told me all this, I couldn't see any ulterior motive or greed in him. He was just stating the facts. By coincidence, Suresh Verma's parents happened to visit. When Uma heard all this, she was astounded. They all thought, could this be a miracle? Could it be God's work? God couldn't be so cruel as to take away our son and send him back in this form." To verify the truth, Ashok suggested that Suresh's family visit Bod village without prior notice to see if Titu could recognize them and respond to their questions spontaneously. With a mix of anxiety, curiosity, and many emotions, Suresh's family went with Ashok to meet Titu, hoping to see their Suresh in him once again. When they reached Ashok's house, Titu was inside washing his hands after having a meal. Titu turned around, and everyone watched him closely, though there was no resemblance between Titu and Suresh Verma. After washing his hands, Titu walked over and directly addressed Chandra Babu as Papa, leaving everyone astonished. Looking at Barfi Devi standing next to him, he said, "This is my mother." Everyone was shocked by what was happening. Titu had accurately identified everyone without having met them before. After recognizing everyone, he immediately told his birth parents, "Look, my real family has come." He then invited everyone to sit. When he saw Uma, he became shy and began to act like an adult, even though he was just a 5-year-old child. He gestured for Uma to sit beside him and started asking about the children. Titu mentioned details about the Dulpur fair that left Uma astonished, because those were conversations that had happened only between Suresh and Uma. Suddenly, he stood up and asked how they had arrived there. Seeing a Maruti parked outside, he immediately inquired about their Fiat car, asking, "Where is my Fiat car? Why did you come in a Maruti?" This stunned everyone because Suresh Verma was shot in that car on the night of August 28, 1983. After these events, They decided to take Titu to Agra to verify the rest of his story and see what else he could recognize or remember. But before that, some planning was done to check if Titu's claims were true. Initial verification. On the drive to Agra, rather than stopping at the shop, Suresh's brothers sped past it to test if Titu could identify it. As they drove by, Titu urgently yelled, "Stop, stop, you just passed my shop, why are you going further?" From inside the speeding car, he recognized the shop, the road, and the market, a feat only possible for someone who knew the place well. Second test. When Titu entered the shop, he didn't act like a typical 5-year-old. His posture and gestures mirrored those of a seasoned shop owner. Uma observed that the way he sat on the stool and moved his hands was exactly like Suresh's. He even pointed out which parts of the shop were recently updated and which remained unchanged since Suresh's time. One more test was left for Titu, final verification. After visiting the shop, Titu was taken to Suresh's house. Before he arrived, Suresh's 2 children were sent to play outside. Despite this, Titu did not falter. He immediately recognized both of Suresh's children among the other kids playing. He pointed them out excitedly. This confirmation solidified the belief for everyone present. Titu Singh might truly be the reincarnation of Suresh Verma. The story took another turn in the late 1980s when Antonia Mills, a well-known researcher from the University of Northern British Columbia who studied reincarnation, took interest in Titu's case. She knew it would be a tough one to crack. Mills spent a lot of time with Titu, observing his actions closely. During a visit to the market, Mills liked some bangles and was about to pay for them when Titu intervened, warning the shopkeeper, "She's our guest. Don't you dare take her money or I'll shoot you." Mills was startled by his reaction, but it aligned with her research. It turned out that Suresh Verma was known for being aggressive and had been involved in smuggling and illegal activities, often getting into conflicts. In January 1989, at Titu's urging, Mills brought him to Suresh's home where his wife Uma and their children were waiting. Titu claimed he had buried gold coins under a tree in the yard, a stash from his smuggling days. When they dug at the spot, they actually found the coins. Now the burning question was whether Titu, then just a 5-year-old, could identify Suresh Verma's killers, whom he claimed to have seen on the night he was shot in his past life. The revelation Titu was about to make was explosive. He said that among the 2 who attacked him, one was Suresh's own business partner. Thankfully, the Agra police treated this case with the seriousness it deserved. Following Titu's detailed account, they detained the suspect he named and conducted a thorough interrogation that led to a confession of the crime. This breakthrough allowed them to reopen the murder case of Suresh Verma from 1983, marking the first time a reincarnation claim had influenced a court case. Titu was asked to testify in court, where he described the entire incident with remarkable precision. A pivotal piece of evidence was the post-mortem report, coupled with the analysis of birthmarks. Titu had 2 distinct marks on his head that strikingly corresponded to the bullet wounds on Suresh's head. Dr. Ian Stevenson had documented in his studies that such marks could be linked to past life injuries, a notion that resonates with beliefs in Hinduism. In court, Dr. Antonia Mills's research on Titu's case further bolstered the argument, convincing the court to acknowledge Titu as the reincarnation of Suresh, leading to the conviction of his murderers. This case was nothing short of groundbreaking and stirred considerable debate. It challenged the idea that those who die unjustly might return in another form to seek justice. Both families faced the emotional dilemma of wanting to be close to Titu without alienating his present family, who had already experienced the heartache of losing a son. The families resumed their separate lives, and Titu continued to grow up balancing memories from 2 lifetimes, progressing through his education in his village. Now, Taran Singh, commonly known as Titu Singh, is an assistant professor at BHU. He maintains a vivid recollection of his past and regularly visits Agra to connect with his former family. Please remember to subscribe to our channel and support our efforts to bring you more fascinating documentaries. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time with another intriguing case.